Hey everybody, what's up? Kevin here once again from the My Song of the Day Rock 2000 to Today YouTube channel. And today we're going to be reviewing our first album of the new decade, of the new year 2020. And we're going to start with the 9th studio album from the Finnish symphonic metal band Apocalyptica. This is Cello. Alrighty, so this is how this review is going to work for those of you who don't know or forgot, because we haven't done a review since October of 2019. So this is how it's going to go. First, I'm going to give you a little bit of a background on Apocalyptica up to Cello, so we're kind of all up to speed at the same point while going into the album. Then I'm going to look at the album in 3 different categories. I'm going to look at construction, instrumentation of the music, the overall mood that the music ends up invoking, and then comparing it to their previous works and seeing where it stands. I would go into vocal performance. However, Apocalyptica's Cello is not going to have any vocals to it. As member Eka Tapanen said that this album was going to be something that they were going to do without any vocal covers, without anything like that, because they wanted to get back to their roots and just be them their raw selves. So we're going to take a look at that and take that into consideration, as well as this a purely instrumental album. Then I'll rate the album on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being, falling off a roof, and 10 being, sitting alone on a nice summer day, enjoying a nice cold beer. And do not worry, I will of course tell you why. And on the day I'm actually shooting this review is the unfortunate passing of the greatest drummer of all time, Neil Peart. Rest in peace, Neil Peart. When I started drumming when I was a kid, it's one of my biggest inspirations. So I still have a pair of drumsticks on me pretty much at all times. So yeah, we're going to put those down there. Are you ready to get to the review? Get it on! All right, let's get it on. So let's go through Apocalyptica's beginnings and kind of bring you up to speed. So Apocalyptica started out in the 1990s as a Metallica tribute band with all their instrumentation, specifically with the cello. Now, as time has gone on, they've gone away from being a Metallica tribute band to be more of a neoclassical symphonic metal band that they are today and have been for the past about 20 years or so. Now, as time has gone on, they've taken a lot of their songs and have put vocal covers and have vocal features from many top vocal performers in rock and metal as well that have come to a lot of success. So there's songs like I'm Not Jesus from Corey Taylor of Slipknot and Stone Sour. You've got Adam Gontier's with I Don't Care, and that is honestly my personal favorite from Apocalyptica, especially because you got the Adam Gontier vocals, got Apocalyptica. I just thought it meshed perfectly. You got other people to come in as well, such as Joseph Dunplanter of Gojira. You had Lacey Sturm of Flyleaf on one of these tracks, along with Brent Smith of Shinedown. So they're really able to pull in a lot of top vocal performers and bring them in from rock and metal music to feature on their songs. And let me tell you, they do a really good job. However, Cello is going to be different than anything Apocalyptica has done in recent memory, because the band is embracing their full instrumental sound and their full instrumental roots. So there will be no songs that have any vocal features on this album. And they said simply they didn't want to put one on there because they didn't want to try and force a song or two that have to have a vocal feature on there when that's not necessarily what they wanted to write, where Eka Tapanen said that the band would be taking a chance on this album because they're making an album that's purely instrumental, so they weren't sure how the fans would react to it. They weren't sure how the hardcore fans are going to react to it, because is it going to be something that, is going to be old school Apocalyptica? And they're not sure if the new fans are going to really take to it because there are no vocal features from these top rock and metal vocalists, again, such as Adam Gontier or Corey Taylor. So it'll be interesting to see where that comes in. And when it comes to the side that's on that more vocal aspect of it, yeah, that's me. So I'll be taking a look at it from that aspect. Now, the meaning of the album, according to Eka, it's an environmental concept album to give more guidance to the listener through the instrumentation that we all come from the same environmental system. So it's all coming from a certain root. So let's take a look at the first category and let's go through them, and then we'll give you our rating. So, of course, the first thing we're going to look at when we're looking at an instrumentation album from Apocalyptica is how the construction of each song and how the instrumentation works within there. And the biggest highlight is they really force the cellos, the drums, and bring in electric guitar to really force the issue, and they all work incredibly well together. So what they use the cellos for is to really bring out that emotion as the emotional backbone to every single song. So you're going to use the cellos to really pull out exactly what they want you to hear. So in the song like Ashes to the Modern World, they hit these lower notes of the cellos to really create this doom feel. And as the song goes on and does pick up a certain pace and change over time, that doom feel still stays the same, and it's all throughout the cellos. And then a song like Rise, they end up having a higher pitch sound, a more hopeful, inspired pitch sound that makes it sound like, you're kind of at a wedding, which I thought, what, that's really kind of amazing, with the fact that those cellos can just be the backbone of the emotion. The drums in here end up being the transition of all the emotion that you hear in the instrumentation. Take a look at the song like Cello. If you take a look at that song, there's a lot of things going on there, but what the drumming is really for is to drive the changing between one set to the other, to the other, to the other. Every single time there's a transition in the song, the drums end up being the breakdown or the fill that end up turning the song into something a little bit more. So if it's going one way, it's going to take a little bit of a left turn. Especially with cello, it's more of a classical movie soundtrack fight song, in my opinion. But when you listen to it, every time it takes another quick turn or another turn, or it's going to, change a little bit of emotion here and there, the drum fill is where it's at. Take a look at the electric guitar, though, when they use it. A lot of times when they use that, it ends up amplifying all the emotion that's brought in through those cellos. So take a look at a song like Fire and Ice. When you get to the second half of the song, it just amplifies the feeling like you're going through hell that the cellos are putting together, and it really just amps it up all the way, and really turns it into, something that I just thought was absolutely overall greatness. Now, they don't just use cellos, drums, and electric guitar here and there. They end up going with a couple of different instruments as well. In one of their songs, they end up using a pan flute to really create this more classical primal sound to everything. I say primal sound to everything. Make it sound more like it's really at the root of everything. And it really works well with the underlying drums that are on that track. They also use a lot of other percussion too to really get that primal drumming sound. Really make it sound like you're at the roots. One other thing they really do is they take different styles from more classical rock and metal bands. I'm saying, more like 1980s, 1970s, those big heavy hitters, and put them into certain songs and really mesh them well. Take a look at a song like Fire and Ice. The second half, they really go with that electric guitar style that is thrash metal Metallica, and it really works when it feels like you're going through hell, especially with some of the tracks that Metallica has that really kind of drive that, kind of take like Enter Sandman. Now, the song Ashes of the Modern World, the second half of that, I listened to the guitar track on it and how it was constructed with the drums and guitar track. This reminded me a lot of Slayer's Raining Blood, and I thought this was a fantastic mix, especially when you get the doom cellos in there. It just sounded absolutely amazing. Then you get Iron Maiden there with like cello, where cello's got more of that, as I said earlier, that classic, movie soundtrack fight song feel. You get the instrumentation there again with the drums, with the guitar, and you get that Iron Maiden feel, so you get more of that bigger than life, broader than life, exponentially grander sound. Man, it works. So I'll take a look at the overall mood of the album, because each song creates a different mood and a different feel throughout the album, especially going with that environmental concept. And some, I gotta say, really hit the nail on the head, but some kind of disappoint and just fail to hit the mark. So let's take a look at a couple. I've already spoken about Ashes of the Modern World, where it has this feeling of impending doom, because this is achieved through that lower note, especially hit on the cellos, and as the pace just begins to pick up and they go to that more Slayer Raining Blood style with the guitar and the drums, it just keeps that doom going, and it mixes so well. So you really hit the nail on the head on that one. Cello is probably my favorite track on the record, because like I said earlier, it's classic movie fight scenes soundtrack. One thing you guys remind me of was, take a look at, and this is gonna be weird, Super Smash Bros. Brawl. The stage Final Destination had a certain track that just had this insane, epic fight. And I just thought, you know what? Cello would be perfectly placed in there, where me and my buddy, when we play Super Smash Bros. When we were younger, we put on this like epic music, and it created one hell of a great time. And I'm hoping to do that again. And of course, we're gonna play cello because it's a 10-minute song. It fits perfectly. Rise is more of an uplifting and more hopeful song, which I really thought, you know what? This is actually pretty darn awesome, especially when you're bringing it to the forefront. I remember I called it, I think it was like, this song is something that sounds like, you're having at a wedding before the bride comes out. It's like that intro music while everyone's walking in before the bride does. And I thought, if I have a wedding and I'm going to do this stuff, yeah, this song is going to end up playing at that point in time. Fire and Ice is one of my other favorites, because it shows the difference between the contentness that a song can really have, especially in the beginning, where it's more, content, more contrite, more emotionally well off, and then you get to the second half where it actually feels like you're going through hell. And just the difference between the two, really being able to drive those emotions, especially with the second half having that Metallica inspired guitar work, really worked well. An example of where their mood didn't really hit the nail on the head was a thing like Call My Name, because it had this rooted primal sound to it. that really stays way too simple throughout the whole entire thing for its own good. Again, I do get the fact they're going more primal on this one and they wanted to keep it simple, but it really just messed with any kind of mood that the album was really bringing in at this point. So it really didn't feel like it really hit the nail on the head, and it was a little disappointing on my end for Call My Name, but otherwise, a lot of the other songs really did well on this. Now we get to comparing this album to their previous work to really get a feel of what's going on here. Now, in my opinion, the overall instrumentation throughout Cello is above and beyond a lot of what they've done in the past, because they use so many different tactics and so many different sounds that really bring forward this complex listening experience for the listener. Again, Fire and Ice, I've already said it earlier, where they use this primal drumming and a pan flute to kind of keep you guessing as to what's going on, especially because you're in more of a content state. Then they completely change up again with that Metallica style guitar and really that doom feel like you're going through hell. So you're getting completely different sides of the spectrum, and it's like nothing else they have in their repertoire. Cello, I've already said, where they use a combination of that drum guitar work, the drum fills to change the emotion, and this classic cellos to create that sound like you're in an epic movie fight scene, and it just works perfectly with the whole entire thing and extends well past their works from other bands as well. Now, if you take a look at it in the end, however, they've done better things overall, and I think it's because of the no vocal performance. Now, me, myself, I absolutely love when you add vocals to this, and I think their best work ends up coming when you add vocals to Apocalyptica's music. Again, take a look at what Corey Taylor did with I'm Not Jesus, when they worked with Adam Gontier with a song like I Don't Care. I absolutely love it. Their instrumentation and the construction of their songs are absolutely fantastic. However, on some of those songs where it's really more drawn back and the mood just isn't able to hit as hard, especially on songs like maybe Rise or Call My Name, as comparison to songs that can really stand alone on themselves like Ashes of the Modern World and Cello, it just really doesn't do as well. I think the best comparison I can make is probably to Alter Bridge's Walk the Sky, where both are constructed amazingly and beautifully done. And I absolutely love both albums. I'm going to say that right now. I really like this album. I absolutely love Walk the Sky. However, what Walk the Sky has that Apocalyptica's Cello doesn't is the vocals. And even if they would put a vocal on one or two tracks and just have a vocal overlaying it, I think it would really work, because Miles Kenny's vocals, especially on Alter Bridge's Walk the Sky, really evoke a lot of that emotion and bring it out even more. Where with Apocalyptica's Cello, there's some songs where you're really trying to bring the emotion out, but a vocal cover over it might help bring it out even more and even make it more grand. Alrighty, and my overall rating for Cello by Apocalyptica is... I'm going to give Cello a 7.5 out of 10. So I'm giving a 7.5 to Cello. So let's take a look at really why I'm giving it a 7.5. Take a look at the good aspects of it. I love how the album consistently plays with the emotions and really gives you a different feel on each song without using any vocals. It's all in the instrumentation. Taking a look at a song like Ashes of the Modern World, which I've spoken about a lot, with the impending doom feel. Cello with that classic epic fight song that you're really trying to work with, and like a movie soundtrack style. Rise, that more uplifting and hopeful sound like you're at a kind of like a wedding or something. And Catharsis with mourning and death. I mean, you really work with a lot of different feelings here and a lot of different emotions, and just with the instrumentation, specifically the cellos on this one, you're really able to play them off well. Now, you can also say the mixing of different styles from other rock bands as well to kind of put them in an influence and really up the profile of some of these songs. I really like that as well. Taking a look again, Ashes of the Modern World, where they have that Slayer raining blood feel in the second half of the song. Fire and Ice with the Metallica guitar work, especially at the second half of the song, I thought really worked well. And then Scream for the Silent, where the guitar solo sounds like it was directly inspired by Eddie Van Halen. I love the mixture of it all, and it really pulls a lot of the emotions from those songs out into the forefront and puts them right in your face. One of the things I've been talking about a lot was mood, and I love how the overall mood on this album was specifically driven through all the instrumentation, because each song, again, had a different mood that it was going for, and they were able to hit every single mood that they're trying to go for with perfect precision without the use of any vocals or lyrics to really guide you into a certain point. And I thought that was just something fantastic, especially when it comes to songwriting and composition. The drum prominence on this one is something I absolutely love, because the drumming was something that really drove the song and really drove where the emotion was going going, giving the transition to it. And when you see something like that happen, I usually see that from like a guitar work. I don't usually see that from the drums, but especially when I bring in the drums into this out like this, I absolutely loved every step of the way. It created something that I really not really seen a lot of recently, but I'm glad it's here because, hey, I love me the drums. Alright, so if I gave it a 7.5, it's not the perfect album, so what didn't I like about the album? I didn't like the fact that, again, we talked about the vocal cover a little bit, and I get where they were coming from, but I thought they could have definitely used a vocal cover here, maybe on 1 or 2 songs. One song that stands out specifically for me is Rise, because it has such an uplifting feel to it that I thought it just kind of could have been bland a little bit at times, whereas if you put a vocal cover in there, it could have really freshened it up. And I'm thinking more of like a hopeful, uplifting sound with a vocal cover. I'm thinking you gotta go with someone like John Cooper or Jen Ledger of Skillet, because their vocals are built for that, their style is built for that, so it's really able to bring that up into prominence. Very much so like Adam Gante did with I Don't Care. I thought it could have worked well here. But then again, I'm glad they didn't focus all that much on the vocals because it really shows the power of their instrumentation. However, I thought they could have, maybe used it on 1 track. Maybe 2, but then again, that's up to them. And then for me, especially towards the end, the album ended up getting a little bit repetitive, but this is when I was going through the full-on review. When I listened to it the first time through, I actually was really enjoying it, but as I was trying to really go through it and really get my thoughts on it, it started sounding more repetitive as it went on. But then again, that's just for me. So that's where I'm looking at it, what I really didn't care for the album on those aspects. So my final thought on Apocalyptica's Cello is this. This was an absolutely fantastic album to start out the year 2020 on when it comes to review. I was surprised that I really would enjoy this one as much as I do because I'm not the biggest fan of instrumentation albums overall or instrumentation songs overall. There's a couple I like YYZ by Rush, but I was surprised with how the emotion was really driven through all of the instrumentation and didn't have to be guided by the vocals and was done with such precision, again, on songs like Ashes to the Modern World, Fire and Ice, and Cello. Apocalyptica being able to use that songwriting style just shows the power that they have as songwriters, and I can't wait to see how the rest of the public perceives this and how you guys perceive this as well. From the epic fight feel that they have on Cello to that joyful feel on Rise, Apocalyptica does one hell of a job with this album and shows why so many artists are just clamoring to work with them. So, do I think this was a good album and worth definitely listening to? Oh, yeah. Alright friends, well that's it for me. Thank you for watching our first album review of 2020, Cello by Apocalyptica, getting that 7.5 out of 10. If you like the video, give me a like. If you dislike it, give me the dislike. But put in the comments what you think about the album, what your rating is, what you dislike about the album, and let's have a talk and conversation about it. If you're not subscribed to this channel, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified. I release videos every single Wednesday, sometimes some special Monday ones, and our podcast videos every single Tuesday. Talk about the podcast in a little bit. So make sure you do that, get those out of here, and let's talk about our social media. So please follow us on all our social media accounts. Links in the description below for everything. So follow us on Facebook. You'll find out anytime anything gets released. Twitter, that's where you can talk to us. Instagram, that's where you can talk to us. We'll post our 30-second song of the day preview clip on all 3. On Instagram, though, we will also have our Instagram live streams every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Central, where you can come and talk to us for an hour just about music or whatever. And our IGTV channel, which has videos every single Tuesday, which is more like a behind-the-scenes vlog of what we're doing here. So be sure to follow those. And we're on TikTok as well. We just do some random stuff there. So get those out of here. We'll talk about the Chord Progression Podcast. It is our very own podcast where we do a lot of different things. So we will do album reviews on there as well, like we did here, but we'll do a deep dive look into each and every song because we have a lot more time to go over that. We'll also do things like talk about the new music that's coming out, so like new singles. We'll also talk about news in rock and roll and metal and rock and all the subgenres of all of it. We will also talk to you, the fans, whatever you want to talk about. We also will be interviewing small bands as well, like we have with great bands like Kingdom Collapse and Gold Frankincense and Myrrh, and we'll be expanding that and also trying to get even larger artists on in the year 2020. So you're going to want to check that out. Every episode is released on Tuesday, maybe some special ones here and there. And you can find it on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, or you can watch the episode right here on YouTube, right on the My Song Day Rock 2000 Today page. Let's get those out of here. And if you're not subscribed to our Amazon Alexa skill, please do that right now. Again, link in the description below. That's where you can listen to the whole entire Song of the Day selection. So that's a great way to, get your fill of rock and metal every single day, fresh new, whatever you want to do. And you can listen for 24 hours, and after that 24 hours, boom, we got a brand new song for you. So you can rediscover old bands, discover new music, and discover smaller bands that are trying to make it big on our Small Band Saturday feature, which we are very proud of, and absolutely expanding on that somehow in the near future. Not sure how we're going to do it, but we're going to expand it somehow. And last but not least, I want to thank you guys for watching this video. We've got many more album reviews to come up, especially in the year 2020, because we've got a lot of albums that are being announced, and I cannot wait to do a lot of these. So until then, thank you for watching. This is Kevin from the My Sunday Rock 2000 Day YouTube channel, and you guys know how I end the videos. We got to get the hat flip. I think I hit it like once so far, but that's enough. But see ya!